When did I even order this? Okay, let's see what's inside the box. Ow. Oh my god, that's hot. Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of The History of K-Pop Season 1, where we take a trip back in time to learn about the most significant idol groups in K-Pop's first generation. Oops, I guess I already spoiled the content for today. What? Anyway, like I already spoiled just now, in today's episode, we're officially beginning our journey into the first generation of K-pop idols. How exciting, right? To start us all off, we'll be going through a brief overview of what the first generation of K-pop idols are all about, and take a look at what distinguishes them from the pre-first generation artists, since that does matter. On top of that, we'll also begin our coverage of the group that officially marks the start of first-generation K-pop idol groups. As to who that is, that's a secret for now. But what is not a secret is that we'll be giving you a brief overview of the group and some fun facts about them, and much more in upcoming episodes. So buckle up and get ready for yet another throwback. And without further ado, let's get right into it.
Let's go!
In the previous episode, we explored the forever legendary group, Sateji and Boys, who pretty much swapped out every old aspect of the Korean music scene with a newer trend that was never seen before. If you watched our previous few episodes, you would know that the group's accomplishments were nothing short of sensational. They were so good, in fact, that they caused a paradigm shift to occur within the entire industry, which led to an eruption of a new concept that is called idol and idol group. However, and ironically, we didn't call Sateji and Boys themselves an idol group. I know, some of you guys might be saying,
"You just mentioned that they were the one who caused the paradigm shift."
Well, let us clarify that for you guys. The group was still considered to be a pre-first generation artist because the concept of the idol was not yet solidified when the group was active, and some more new features needed to emerge in order to satisfy the conditions to call anyone an idol. We'll get to more of that later on in the episode, so don't panic yet. Anyhow, following the impactful career of Sateji and Boys, the first generation of idols marked the official starting point for the concept called K-pop idol, that most people are now familiar with. I mean, it is kind of obvious from the term itself. The K-pop industry saw themselves becoming more systematic during this generation, which further solidified the concept called idol, the emergence of new features, and fans in their teens and 20s. Speaking of fans, the industry also witnessed multiple fandoms of extreme loyalty as portrayed in the drama Reply 1997, which looks like this. Also, the music scene was still limited domestically within Korea during this period, but artists from this generation would pave the way for the future global expansion of K-pop. Arguably, and rather unfortunately, The first generation of K-pop idols can be seen as the starting point for the relatively short lifespan of certain types of artists. Our researcher Jin-ho believes that this is one adverse effect that arose from the development of the K-pop idol industry. According to his statement, which I have right here, he argues that the shorter lifespan can prevent idols from being perceived as artists and are instead seen more like a business brand marketed by the agency. Though this is not always the case. And I do think Jin-ho brought up a very good point here. He further mentioned that while the agencies may be able to create successful idol groups, it does not necessarily mean that all members of that group would find the same amount of popularity. That is, a group's popularity doesn't equate to individual popularity. This could be due to their different level of musicality, skill, or etc. In that case, some members may not be able to sustain their career as a celebrity once the spotlight on their group fades away. This can be especially evident when the initial contracts end and the infamous 7-year curse comes into play. We know what happens if a 7-year curse does actually come into play in an undesirable manner. Idol groups that we have come to know tend to be strategically produced under the support and influence of their agencies, often with younger trainees being selected to debut in their teens. Naturally, as these members begin to grow up while promoting within a group, they will come to discover and understand what they desire and what their rights are as a celebrity. Over time, these realizations can cause some members to have a conflict of interest with their agency or with other members, leading to some or all of the members eventually leaving their groups or their agency. And this is the outcome that we as a fan do not want to see. A potential source of conflict can arise between the agency and their more seasoned idols when members start to branch out and focus on activities outside of the group. They may discover that acting or other areas of the entertainment industry suit them better than an idol or singing career, resulting in them having a gradual change of heart. Conflict may also arise if an agency is not producing albums for a group who initially wasn't able to reach an adequate level of popularity, and refuses to seek alternative routes to promote that group. This can also happen when the popularity is not evenly distributed among the group, as the agency would focus on promoting popular members instead of focusing on the group's promotion as a whole. As a result, this may cause unpopular members to branch out for the survival of their career as a celebrity or others. Of course, nobody wants to be known as unpopular or unsuccessful.
당연하죠.
On the flip side, some members are known to have played important parts in convincing their members to stay with their group. Two excellent examples within the industry are Shinhwa's Eric and Apink's Park Chorong. At least with the latter example, we assume a lot of you guys would know why. In addition, some idols' success only came after the disbandment of the group, which led them to gain more attention for their talent. While this isn't the best outcome for those who wish for their group to stay together, hoping for all the members' success is another thing that we can do as fans. Since we now have an overview of what the first generation of K-pop idols is like, it's time for us to dig a little bit deeper into what defines this period of time called first generation of K-pop idols. In terms of time period, first generation K-pop idol groups can generally be understood as groups that debuted in 1996 or later, and disbanded in the early 2000s. We already covered this in our introduction episode, so I won't bore you guys more. While the pre-first generation groups are known to have set the foundation for the current K-pop idol industry, the first generation idol groups are distinguished by having utilized the newly developed platform and further refining the concept of an idol established during this paradigm shift. For many people, the group H.O.T marks the beginning of the first generation of idols, Hence why we are choosing to discuss this group as the first example of this generation. Uh-oh. Spoiler alert! During the period in which H.O.T debuted, the concept of an idol was becoming solidified, instead of being liquefied and gasified. And debuting in a group became a more popular choice than debuting as a solo artist. And guess what? You'll see some examples further down the series where already planned out artists went through changes in their format in order to hop on this bandwagon. Once these groups debuted, many of them started to share common features, which I think I've said the word feature a lot by now, and went through similar training systems, which barely existed for the first generation idols, with each member being assigned certain roles or characters to play within their groups. Again, the drama Reply 1997 does a good job of depicting what the K-pop fandom culture was like during the first generation of K-pop idols. It is also worth mentioning that there has been a recent trend of reuniting disbanded groups from the past. Many groups from the first generation of K-pop idols, such as SES, H.O.T, or Jack's Kiss, have reunited through TV shows called Infinite Challenge, while some other idol groups have reunited through their own ways. Now that we took a brief look at the first generation idols as a whole, it's time to dig deeper into our first example, H.O.T. So, who are they? We should probably take a look at the members first to determine that. H.O.T is made up of 5 members, including the leader Moon Hee-jun, Jang Woo-hyuk, Tony An, Kang-ta, and Lee Jae-won. Now for the group's name. What does H.O.T stand for, you might ask? Well, it obviously stands for High Fives of Teenagers, of course. What the heck is that supposed to mean, Mr. SM?
하시로 읽으면 안 돼. 점 보이지? 하이파이브 오브 티네이저야. 10대들의 승리. 승리할 거야. 이렇게 얘기하셨거든요.
Under SM Entertainment, yes, it's that SM Entertainment we all know, H.O.T debuted on September 7th, 1996, with the song Warrior's Descendant from their first album titled We Hate All Kinds of Violence. Warrior's Descendant hating all kinds of violence? Why does that sound so contradictory? From their debut and throughout their career, H.O.T smashed many records. Yes, they literally smashed many records. H.O.T started their list of record-breaking achievements by being the first idol group to score the highest annual album sales figure. They continued on with their list by achieving the famous Grand Slam when receiving the Grand Awards from the 3 main broadcast companies, SBS, KBS, and NBC. They really liked to slam records, like I said earlier. And that's not all, as the group became the first Korean artist to completely sell out tickets for their concert held at Jamsil Olympic Stadium. That venue has a seating capacity of 69,950, and that's without including the standing sections. Only other artists with massive popularity such as TVXQ, Big Bang, EXO, and BTS have held concerts at this location. Now that should really tell you how popular H.O.T really was.
자영하죠.
And that's not all. While they were active, H.O.T also had the largest fan club during a time when the internet was not quite readily available. What? Their rise to mainstream popularity became a news source for teenagers to be excited again, after Satejian boys had left quite a large void in the industry. But, I mean, they had to go somewhere, right? If you watched the previous few episodes of our series, which you can check out linked above, you'll know there was an enormous demand from teenagers for music that was well suited to their age demographic. Another notable thing about H.O.T is that no other idol groups of their same generation, even their supposed rival group Jack's Kiss, whom you will see in our series in the future, were able to reach the popularity of H.O.T. But regardless, the group became the launch point for more idol groups to debut, solidifying the paradigm shift of the Korean music industry initiated by Satejian boys. From that point onward, any TV shows that dealt with music became dominated by idol groups. I mean, just think about music shows from the current generation. As we've alluded to a short while ago, H.O.T played a significant role in defining the idol group concept, especially in the assignment of roles and characters within the group, which most of us are familiar with these days. Within H.O.T, Heejun was the leader, sub-vocal, rapper, lead dancer, and choreographer. That's a lot of roles assigned to him. But he was also known as a funny and talented leader. Kangta was the main vocalist, but was also the main visual of the group. I mean, just look at him. Tony was a sub-vocal and rapper, and was characterized as a charming prince. But on an old variety show named X-Men을 찾아라, or Find X-Men, he also supposedly discovered his monkey-like character, as shown here.
너 별명이 몽키라며. 아까 쉬는 시간에 화장실 가서 바나나 몰래 먹고 왔지. 영상도 빨갛잖아.
Woohyuk was a rapper and was also known to be a cool and charismatic member. Finally, Jaewon was the main dancer, rapper, and choreographer, but was also the youngest and most naive member of the group. Now, we'd say that this is beyond the norm, but interestingly, each H.O.T member was assigned a unique number and color as well. Heejun was given the number 23 and the color yellow, Kangta 27 and green, Tony 7 and red, Woohyuk 35 and blue, and Jaewon 48 and orange. Actually, now that I think about it, SM Entertainment also did similar things to some of their subsequent idol groups, right? Like we said earlier, the massive success and popularity of H.O.T drove many agencies to go nuts. Just kidding, they didn't actually go nuts. Or did they? No, more like they had to change the plans they had in place to debut new groups, rather than whatever format they were planning for at that time. And the emergence of H.O.T was basically the black box for that process. Wait, black box? Do we mean this?
Wait a minute.
I actually had to discuss this with my researcher about the whole black box thing because I got confused about it, despite the fact that I wrote this script initially. But to clear things up, we actually mean the scientific term. But anyway, let us continue. So, we did just say that H.O.T became the black box for how some male idol groups debuted around this era. For example, Jack's Kiss was meant to debut as a duo, but was suddenly transformed into a 6-member group. NRG had already debuted with 2 members, but subsequently re-debuted with 3 additional members. That sounds awfully familiar to something we'll see in the future. But anyway, G.O.D was initially planned as a co-ed group with 5 male members and 1 female member, but ultimately only decided to debut with the 5 male members, due to somebody's decision. Stick around and keep watching our series and you might just find out who this someone is. What I, and a researcher named Jinho, found interesting was that SM Entertainment had actually planned to have the members of H.O.T graduate from the group once they were 20 years old. I know, right? But fortunately, they eventually reversed that decision due to the immensely massive success of the group. Now, doesn't this concept sound familiar?
슈퍼?
Well, if you immediately thought about Super Junior, you would be correct, as SM Entertainment also attempted this concept on Super Junior. Except the graduation plan also did not happen for them as well. So, from our collected historical information, we would like to recommend that SM Entertainment really forget about the graduating system. I mean, it's not like they give out a degree or something. With H.O.T being a very iconic idol group, there are, of course, some pretty interesting facts about them. No, we're not saying that the previous section wasn't interesting. One fun fact is the group's lineup. Not their current lineup, but more like some other celebrities that could almost have become members of H.O.T. Sounds amazing, right? For example, a very famous actor named Wonbin, this guy, auditioned for SM Entertainment around that time, but Mr. SM himself failed Wonbin and did not see him as a suitable candidate. But maybe that was actually good for Wonbin, considering how popular he became after this movie. Kim Jong-min, a current member of H.O.T and a very original cast member of the show One Night, 2 Days, passed the audition for SM Entertainment and was offered to start first as a backup dancer. However, Jongmin himself interpreted this offer as a failure, and understandably so. I mean, normally, people would assume passing the audition as becoming a trainee, not a backup dancer, right? But Heejun later clarified this on the episode of Radio Star that aired on May 29th, 2013, that this meant he had successfully passed the audition. How extremely unfortunate. Although it's not all that bad considering that he and his group became one of the longest running groups from that time. And FYI, he is the winner of the Grand Award for the KBS Entertainment Award in 2016. Finally, Gary, who is a former member of Lee-sung, was also said to have been a candidate for the group as well. I don't think we need to explain a lot about who he is, as we assume that a lot of you guys have seen him on Running Man for as long as he has been a part of that show. Although it would have been cool to see these guys as members of the legendary group H.O.T, it's great to see that they still achieved success in their own way. And that brings us to the end of today's episode. We began exploring the first generation of K-pop idols and gave you an introduction to one of the most significant groups, H.O.T. Well, that was a pretty long introduction. In regards to H.O.T, we gave you a general overview of the group with some fun facts. There is much more to H.O.T, however, and in the next episode, we'll be looking at their music style and discography, and finish with how the public perceived them. So, what did you guys think about this episode? Do you guys know any other first generation K-pop idol groups? And is this the first time you've heard of H.O.T? Please let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. And let us know if we missed anything in today's video or if anything needs to be corrected. And finally, please leave any questions you have throughout the season on any particular video in the series, as we're planning to have a special review or Q&A episode at the end of this season. As always, I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for watching and supporting our project, The History of K-Pop, Season 1. Remember to stay awkward, and I hope you'll tune in next time. Bye! heck? When did I even deliver? What the heck wasn't even in the script?